Guten Morgen. I mean, morning. You alright? I do hope you are, sincerely hope you are. My band of brothers, the glorious band, the chosen few, very best people on earth, basically. Watching the Beau show live, tuning in live, making the effort, getting up early. I don't have to tell you to wakey, eggs and bakey. You're already here. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for getting involved. It's just ticked past 8 in the AM, British summertime. On Tuesday, the 23rd of June, in the year of our Lord 2026, I'm joined by my producer, Jack, because little Harry's away. Jack, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, Beau. Ready to get going.
Oh, bit of enthusiasm there, love it. All right, should we just get straight into it? We don't need to faff about anymore, do we? There's no point in fannying around. Let's just get straight into it. What's that cabal of evil Fleet Street editors banging on about this morning? Oh, yeah, so it happened. It happened. As predicted yesterday, Starmer did resign yesterday. It played out almost exactly as I said, didn't it? It was very shortly after the Beau show had finished, actually, by sort of 10 AM, British summertime. They got the little lectern out. He came out and he said, my government was kind of great, wasn't it? But unfortunately, I don't have the support anymore, and it's been the privilege of my life. It's exactly what happened. Also tiresome, unpredictable. 7 prime ministers in 10 years, if you like include David Cameron in that. Embarrassing, really. All right. Well, as you can imagine, then that completely dominates the news cycle today. All the front pages and all the websites, really. We've got a couple of little bits and bobs here or there, and I will try and cover them. But today's basically, the whole show really is going to be about this, more or less. So, as I say, a couple of other bits and bobs where I can find them, where I can glean them. Like 1 or 2 data points about Iran and J.D. Vance. Alan Greenspan's dead. Okay, alright. Here's tears. And Andy's crown, King Andy, King of the North and South now. And Messiah without a mandate. He wore sandals the other day, didn't he? Do you remember that? Like the Messiah. When he was getting sworn in as an MP, which happened yesterday, someone shouted out, he must have been a Conservative, I'm pretty sure it was someone, a Conservative, shouted out, you're not the Messiah. And Andy, no Starmer Berman, King of the North, said, just a very naughty boy. Do you get that reference, Jack? Do you understand that?
No, I don't get that one, unfortunately.
Right, okay. I have to be careful because being in my mid-40s, I often don't take into account enough that younger people won't get things. It's from The Life of Brian. Pardon me. Monty Python's Life of Brian, which, to be fair, did come out in like the 1970s.
Oh, I have watched that. I just don't remember that joke.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's no shade on you, Jack. Not at all. It's a good bellwether to know if perhaps foreign people have never seen it, or if people are young, they wouldn't know. Yeah. So in that, Brian, his mother has to tell a crowd of people he's not the Messiah. They're calling him the Messiah, and he's saying, I'm not the Messiah. In the end, his mum has to come out, Terry Jones, dressed as a woman, saying he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy. So someone shouted at Burnham, you're not the Messiah, and he said, just a naughty boy. Very funny, isn't it? Very funny. All right. He's a Messiah without a mandate. You see, now you're getting it. Now you're starting to understand. He's a Messiah without a mandate. They're saying, the cabal of evil Fleet Street editors. Don't mention the connection between the Baron Rothschild, 5th Baron Rothschild, and Jeffrey Epstein and Ehud Barak, like every day, yeah, guys? Yeah, good. Okay, the Metro. Ooh. Gross. Okay. Starmer quits and Streeting backs away. So, no Stern and Burnham. And King Andy Bumham, the first of his name, and his guy liner and his double chins will probably get a coronation. Probably. Might not, but it looks like... Well, his main rival would have been Wes Streeting, and all the scuttlebutt around Westminster is the Right Honourable Wesley Streeting MP is not going to contend it. Will one or two others? We'll talk about that in a bit. But it looks like Streeting probably won't, which probably leaves the path just completely open to Burnham. It is remarkable. Before this all played out, before the NEC of the Labour Party, their national sort of governing body, remember in the Gaunton and Dent one, they blocked Andy Burnham from even being selected, didn't they? And before they allowed him to be selected for Makerfield, I was saying, as were a lot of other people were saying, it's a crazy long shot for Andy Burnham to be Prime Minister. There's like 3, 4, 5 different things that need to fall into place, and a few of those are really unlikely. It's like it's a crazy long shot. I wouldn't put any money on Burnham being Prime Minister. Well, here we are, right? You know, it was in the lap of the gods a couple of times, particularly for the Makerfield election itself, but he won it handily in the end, and here we are. Remarkable, really. The powers that be and the good people of Makerfield wanted him, you know. We shall see how well he does, if and when he does actually become Prime Minister, how well he does. What his actual sort of main policies will be. They're going to be ball plop, aren't they? It's going to be more of the same. It's going to be like Starmer, but worse, isn't it? It's going to be more globalist. Okay. Keir's tears. 2-tier Keir. When he, and Andy's crown. Emotional PM steps down, praising wife and children. Then jubilant Burnham sweeps in. He did a tweet saying, it's not a coup. It's not a political coup d'etat. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. Get real. So his speech, thought maybe we could have a quick look at his speech. I've got no sympathy whatsoever for this man. None. He's like, he did a little bit of a voice crack. The country I love. Like Theresa May. I'm going to do the best. I'm going to leave office. I'm going to do the best thing in the world that's possible to do. Be a good father and a good dad. Ugh. Ugh. So weak. He's exactly the sort of person you don't want to be the leader. Just a weakling. Just an empty shirt. Just a nothing man. Should we have a look at his actual speech? Got it here. It's only like 6 minutes long or so. Let's have a little listen. Oh, before I go into it, do you remember Boris Johnson's one? Boris Johnson seemed happy, didn't he? It seemed to me, if I recall. I haven't rewatched it in the last 24 hours or anything, but if I recall, he seemed to be kind of happy. Anyway, they're usually not, are they? They're usually on the verge of tears, but... Well, let's watch. Let's see how delusional it is. It's really, really delusional. It's gaslighting. It's trying to rewrite history. The thing is, you can hear music in the background. It's that Stephen Bray dude. Anyone who doesn't know who that is, for 10 years now, because today is the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of the Brexit vote, there's a guy, I don't know where he must be independently wealthy, because he obviously hasn't got a job. God knows where he got his money from. But anyway, there's a guy, Stephen Bray, just a dude, a normal, completely normal person, right? He's obviously got a bit of money, so he doesn't work. And he spends all day, every day, basically, more or less, in Parliament Square, hanging around outside the Houses of Parliament, with like a big Brexit hat and like a pro-EU flag. He's like an arch Remainer, arch pro-EU person. And he just spends all day, every day, hanging around there, making a noise, making a very slight nuisance of himself. And occasionally giving interviews. He's one of those people in British politics, a bit like Count Binface or a bit like Screaming Lord Sutch, who's just like a figure of absurdity. Basically, he doesn't think he is. He thinks he's serious. He's just super, super pro-EU. Will talk to anyone at any time about rejoining Europe, that sort of thing. He was playing really loud, standing at the gates of number 10 Downing Street, or Downing Street rather, Downing Street is a road just off of Whitehall, and it's gated, and there's armed police there, so normal people can't walk up and down Downing Street. But you can stand at the gates of Downing Street, which is only, 100 yards from there? Maybe 150 yards, it's not very far. You can stand on Whitehall looking through the gates of Downing Street and just about see number 10. Anyway, he was standing there, as anyone can, with some sort of boombox or something, some sort of loudspeaker boombox thing, playing Ode to Joy really loudly, all the mics pick it up. Because apparently that's one of Starmer's favourite songs. It's also some sort of EU anthem as well. And the Stephen Bray fella likes Keir Starmer. He wasn't trying to sort of ruin his moment, although it did sort of weirdly ruin it. It did sort of put him off a little bit. But anyway, that's what that music is, if you can hear it. It's not like a stunt designed by Starmer himself or like the number 10 team or anything. It's Stephen Bray standing about 150 yards away at the end of Downing Street. All right, let's watch this.
Thank you. Walking up this street 2 years ago was the proudest moment of my life. A new Labour government, the first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair. The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for. The journey to that point was not easy. 6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt.
A bit of a dig at Corbyn there, isn't it? That the party was just in the doldrums. And he sort of found the crown in the gutter, the crown of the Labour Party. Found it in the gutter, picked it up and just put it on. If it wasn't for him, the Labour Party would already be dead or something. Okay.
I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible. But we proved those people wrong because we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security.
I don't think you did any of those things, really. Again, another dig at Corbyn. Corbyn's sort of a pro-Palestine, well, not sort of, is a pro-Palestine person. What did he say? He said about restoring security.
As we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security.
Trust in the economy and national security? No, not at all. Didn't you greenlight a giant Chinese embassy? The biggest embassy in Europe. Like a freakishly big Chinese embassy that is built over really, really sensitive telecommunications hubs. But you're saying we got trust in national security. And haven't there been quite a few Chinese and Russian espionage plots going on, particularly inside your government? Trust in the economy. Our economy is absolutely in the doldrums. If you don't calculate it in a very, very specific way, we're in recession. Trust in the economy and national security. What planet is he living on? Weird.
And becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag.
No. In fact, just the other day, I think it was in Bristol, the councils were like, you can't put up St George's flags, that'll make migrants feel unwelcome. Not a word from the national government, not a word about that. No, when there was the whole flag thing going on, the government didn't do anything to back up the pro-flag people. Not a word, not a dicky bird. No, it's done everything in its power to undermine our sort of sense of national identity. Everything. Welcoming a massive delegation of Islamic people into Westminster Hall so they can do a call to prayer in Westminster Hall.
Hard work of change was with a singular purpose, not power for power's sake, but to change Britain for the better, to build a fairer country with dignity and respect, where everyone is seen, everyone is valued, wealth and opportunity for
Everyone is valued, or apart from Wayne Broadhurst, yeah, apart from Rhiannon White, apart from all the rape victims, apart from all the murder victims, particularly white ones. You didn't really value them, did you? You memory hold those, didn't you? They weren't heard, were they? Fairer. You're going to talk about fairer? You cheap SOB. The brass neck of it, to come out and talk like that he's made Britain fairer under a two-tier. Tell that to Henry Novak. A fairer society. Really? Don't think so, mate. The cheek of it.
for all, not just the privileged few.
That's classic commie socialist claptrap, isn't it? To make everything fairer. Just that. That there's a privileged few in the world, in society, in your country, wherever you are. There's some rich people, right? Or even just middle class people, or even working class people that have got a little something. That they need to be robbed of that to make the world fairer. It's mad, isn't it? It's disgusting. And Burnham's more left than him. More left than him.
And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers.
It's not stronger. It's not stronger. That's just not true. Like, our economy grew by something like 0.3%. And that, again, that's if you measure it in a really, really specific way to make it, that's the rosiest possible spin you could put on our economy. 0.3. That's flatlined. That's dead. That's what that is. That's basically dead. He's going to talk about a strong economy. In fact, there's an article, quite a good article in the Mail, where it talks about, yeah, look, a reality versus claim thing in the Mail. He said, an economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers. The reality is the UK economy grew sort of 0.6% in the first quarter of this year. Sorry, 0.6. That's for the whole quarter, by the way. I think in the last month it was 0.3. Okay. Faster than any other G7 country. But the Bank of England said the figure overstated growth. And Britain has not led the G7 in any other quarter since Labour came to power. The International Monetary Fund predicts that the UK will grow by just 1% this year, behind the US and Canada. Labour's manifesto also targeted GDP growth per head, but last year the UK lagged behind the US and Japan on this measure. Meanwhile, inflation and the cost of borrowing on bond markets is the highest in the G7. Yeah. He's going to say that we've got a strong economy. Everyone knows we haven't got a strong economy. Everyone knows it's... Oh, okay, let's carry on.
Wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power.
And that spin, like you can say that because it did like once. Wages are growing quicker than inflation, but only just. Latest official figures show pay in real terms, after taking into account the cost of living, is climbing by just 0.3%. Again, like the tiniest slither of an amount. That is down sharply from 3.3% when Labour came to power. See? So it's got worse under his watch. But if you phrase it a certain way, you can say, you can spin it that it's actually a good thing in some way. It's not. All right, well, let's get through it a bit faster, shall we? Let's just let him speak for a few more minutes. Actually.
Investment secured, infrastructure being built.
Sorry, no. The HS2 thing is he talking about? Is he? What infrastructure? What infrastructure? Loads of infrastructure's collapsed. The high street has collapsed. Well, the HS2 thing is going to take until the 2040s. It costs like over £100 billion. What are you talking about, mate?
An end to austerity, with the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years.
Once again, if you haven't got the trend by now, they can only say it fell because they just wrote 600,000 people off. See how you can do that? It's the fastest fall in waiting lists. There's still like 7 million people on waiting lists. But it's the fastest fall in 17 years. Yeah, because you cheated. Because you decided to just take 600,000 people and say, do you still need your treatment? Oh, we haven't heard from you. So, no, you're off. You're done. Gone. Right, fastest falling figures ever. We win. That's a win for our government. Disgusting.
The biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation.
Communism. That's commie, socialist, pinko, parliament pinko, champagne socialist nonsense. Again, anyone that owns anything, you're their enemy. You're their enemy.
The biggest uplift in defence spending since the Cold War.
Amazing. Amazing. Part of why his whole government collapsed is to do with military spending, isn't it? Once again, you've seen the trend here. If you say it very, very specifically like that, you can make that sort of argument. But in fact, spending on our military is massively underfunded. Massively, obviously so, to the point where our generals are pulling their hair out and his own defence secretary had to quit. And everyone from Trump on down is saying, what are you doing? This is mad. Like how everyone's saying. Like, why are you spending all your money on welfare and none, or not enough, on defence? But he'll stand there and say, the most in a generation or whatever. Delusional. Absolute delusion. Pathetic. It's not fooling anyone.
Small boat crossings falling. Asylum hotel.
Fooling. A tiny... So the highest peak was like 2022 or 2024. And at the moment, it's like just under that. Just under it. A few hundred under for this time of year off the highest peak of all time. This year could well be the highest small boat invasion of any year. Could still be. If quite a few come over. In fact, there was higher winds for quite a few days during spring, which otherwise the numbers would be the highest of all time. But he's saying it's down. Now, if you phrase it just that way, it's down. Oh, is it? Just off the highest peak of all time. Look at his face, pleading for you to believe him.
Hotels closing, protecting young people from social media, and 500,000 children being lifted out of poverty because of the choices that I made.
It's the cap on to children welfare stuff. Just rewarding people that have got loads and loads of kids that can't afford to have them. Again, another socialist thing. Taking money off the working people and giving it to people that have got too many kids, can't afford to raise their... Again, a socialist thing. All right, let's let him speak for a bit here.
Our reputation in the world restored, with Britain once again standing up for decency, respect and the rule of law, securing trade deals, standing with Ukraine, standing up for our values.
Nobody asked you to stand with Ukraine. Nobody in this country really, unless they're like a weirdo shill, weirdo globalist shill. No one cares about Ukraine, really. Like that's something to boast about. Giving the most corrupt government in the world billions to embezzle. Making Britain great on the world stage, he said there, didn't he? Or what's that effect? No, we're a laughing stock. A laughing stock. Trying to give away the Chagos Islands. Just trying to give it away to a proxy country of China. You're going to stand there and say you've made Britain important again on the world stage.
And rebuilding our relationship with our allies in Europe. Change promised by a Labour government. Change fought for by a Labour government. Change delivered by a Labour government. But I know the question being asked now is not who was best placed to change the Labour Party, to take us into power and to begin the vital work of improving lives for millions of people. Those questions have been answered. The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken...
I mean, not that much good grace, really. You held on much longer than most would have done after your cabinet started resigning, and the polls showed you as the most unpopular Prime Minister of all time, for centuries, and that shellacking Labour got in their local elections wasn't with that much good grace, to be honest.
Has been about putting the country I love first.
Sorry.
Is why
I just don't believe that. I just simply don't believe that he put the country that he loves first. No. It looks like you did everything you could to undermine it. It looks like that's what you did. Because, okay, so he goes on. He doesn't mention any of the failures. They're supposed to be all his successes in government. That's supposed to be a laundry list of all the great things he achieved in 2 years of government. No mention, not that you probably would. Well, if he's fair-minded, if he's in good grace, you might actually mention all the things that he failed on. In this article, they list a few of them. Do you remember when he first got into power, there was that freebie scandal? That Lord Ali had just given him and his wife loads of money to buy clothes, or just loads of clothes. Thousands of pounds worth of clothes. The Mandelson affair, what was that? That he gave this sort of foreign agent, effectively working on behalf of a foreign agent. Is that not what Peter Mandelson was? He's giving sensitive, market-sensitive and politically sensitive information to a foreigner, Jeffrey Epstein. So what is that if that's not espionage, if that's not spying? And Keir Starmer picked him. Terrible political acumen. No judge of character whatsoever. No mention of that. Soft justice, letting up to 60,000 prisoners out of jail early. A two-tier justice system. Don't tell me there's not a two-tier justice system in this country. We try and clear up a lake, a river, and you go to prison for it. Sam Mellier banged up for putting stickers up. The judge himself saying you haven't actually committed a crime, but we're going to bang you up anyway. But then actual sex criminals, paedophiles sometimes, not getting custodial sentences, let out and put on a course to teach them right from wrong. Don't tell me there's not a two-tier justice system in this country. Ballooning welfare, an insane amount of money spent on welfare. Putting our invaders up in hotels and giving them phones and free money. Our invaders. Youth worklessness, record taxes, destroying the high street, doctors' strikes, school fees. Not to mention the Chagos Island thing, the trying to give... What treason is that? What treason is that? The Chinese embassy thing, the ID cards. That alone. That push, that attempt to force ID cards on us. That's evil. That was evil. Josh Simons. He was all part of that. The guy that stood aside for Andy Burnham. He was a big part of all that. That ID card push. Evil. Again, I don't use that word. I don't use that word lightly. Evil or treason. I do reserve it for when I really think that's the case. But he's going to stand there and say he did everything he thought was in the interests of the country he loves. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. No. it looks like you hate us, the people. It feels like and looks like you hate us. You want to dominate us, grind us under your socialist heel, and ruin our economy, ruin our society, the fabric of our society. Doing away with jury trials, allowing us to be more safe and legal routes, allowing us to be invaded legally and illegally, saying you're deporting loads more people than the Tories ever did, but it's still tiny trickle, ruining us demographically, locking in a sectarian nightmare, a tribal, racial and religious sectarian nightmare. No, I don't believe that you love this country or were acting in its best interests. I don't buy that. You're going to stand there and say that?
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Brilliant. Good.
I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess. In the case of a contest, this will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September. I will remain in post as Prime Minister until the contest is complete, and I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power. I will also give my successor my full and unequivocal support, knowing that they will inherit a Britain that is far stronger and fairer than the one I inherited 2 years ago, better prepared for the challenges ahead and better able to ensure the Labour Party secures a second term in office. I want to thank all of those friends and colleagues who have been at my side for these past 6 years or so, for their incredible commitment, service and support. I want to thank the brilliant Number 10 staff and our country's extraordinary civil service who dedicate their lives to public service.
Do they? Do they?
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad, and being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, mate. Okay. Get in the dustbin of history now. Off you go. Go on. Off you trot. Disgusting loser. One of the weakest people I've ever known to be in power. It's funny, actually. It's interesting when you see, not just in British politics in the last 15, 20 years or something, but throughout all of history, right? There's certain things, particularly in military history, when you're the guy at the top, when the buck stops with you, when you're the CO, you're the actual commanding officer, there's no one above you. You don't have a boss. The final decision on something is yours and yours alone, right? That's a lonely place in all sorts of ways. Right? You can be a CO on the ground and just be a major, right? In a big war, of course, you'd be a field marshal or general or something. In politics, of course, it's like the leader, right? But so the point I'm trying to make here is that there's an ocean of difference between being number two and being number one, right? Loads and loads and loads of people look really good as 2IC, second in command, in and around the orbit of power. Loads of people can do that. You look like you would be great if you were given the top job. And then you get the top job and you realise you just don't have the skills, you don't have the abilities, you haven't got the type of character, you haven't got the right mind, the right world view to do it, to pull it off, right? So someone like Tony Blair, for example, for better or worse, I hate the guy, but he could do it. Right? He was capable of doing it. I hated his agenda. I hate what he did to Britain. But he was capable at doing it. He was comfortable in his own skin. He was comfortable in that job. He had a vision. He had a set of policies. I hated them, but he had them, right? You say the same for David Cameron. He was obviously quite comfortable in that role. A lot of them aren't, right? Liz Truss wasn't, obviously, not Liz Truss. Theresa May wasn't. Rishi wasn't. Gordon Brown wasn't. A lot of them aren't. John Major wasn't particularly, right? Keir Starmer, one of the worst I've ever seen. One of the worst I've ever seen. Again, in military history, going back centuries, sometimes you find a guy and he's a great, great general, but he's never actually been a CO on the ground. He's never commanded an army or an army group. He's been a great general officer his whole career, been a great soldier. You put him in command. I'm thinking of someone like Dalrymple, some of the commanders in the Peninsular War. You give them the top job, they're CO, and they crumble, and they can't do it, and they don't know how to act, how to behave. They've got nothing. It turns out they're nothing. They were LARPing all along as sort of a great man, a leader of men. And when finally they're given their chance to show what they're worth, they've got nothing. They're empty. Right? That's what Keir Starmer is, isn't it? He was capable at being a lawyer, being the CPS, even being the head of the CPS. He was capable at being an MP, being the leader of the opposition even. Because that's simple. Being the leader of the opposition, simple. All you got to do is just criticise the government. You can say whatever you want to say, make up almost anything you want to make up. You never have to fulfil it or anything. All the weapons, right, you're right next to power, the pinnacle of power, the cockpit of power. You're right next to it. You look like you're the guy. You look like you could do it. And then when you get there, finally, you're actually there in the big seat. And you crumble. Nothing. It was all a LARP. Well, I've never seen a more abject case of that than Sir Keir Starmer. Just not capable of it, was he? To dominate the big beasts in his party, to dominate his own backbenchers, to have a worldview, to have a policy platform that made any sense, that he was prepared to push through and make happen. No, none of it. None of that. None of that. Apparently, according to insiders, he would spend a lot of time during his tenure at Number 10 not doing stuff. Sitting in a private office, one of the private offices in Number 10. Just not seeing people, not talking to people. Not really doing the business of government. Just stumbling through from day to day. Reacting to headlines. Just that. He's got no imagination. That's what a load of people said about him. That he's not... There's been a book written and there was various excerpts in, I think, the Telegraph or the Times, saying that he's not curious. When something or other happens, or there's something big, some sort of policy agenda, something big comes across his table, one way or another, that he's not curious about it. He doesn't ask anyone, why is this the way it is? Why are we here now? What's going on? Why? No. That's so weird. He's like a robot, like a broken robot. He's going to stand up there and tell us that he did everything he could for the country he loves. Insane. Gaslighting. It's gaslighting. It's just delusional. Oh, revolting. Now he's going to go off and be a father and a dad. Well, good. That's about your speed. Yeah, that's about your speed. Again, he said his kids just take the mickey out of him all the time. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. You can't even lead your own family. His weirdo wife stroke handler tells him what to do and what to think, I think. Right? Very often. Yeah, go off and be with her. Ugh. All right. Should we whip through the headlines? It's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. The Guardian. Ooh. Guardian, gross. Smells like hot compost. Oh, poor Starmer. He bows out. Oh no. Oh, poor him. Zero sympathy. The Mirror. Mirror's like weirdly, maybe not weirdly, but they're just really pro. Well, look, their headline is, he stood up to Trump. They've got Trump derangement syndrome. The Mirror has got Farage and Trump derangement syndrome real bad. He stood up to Trump, lifted 500,000 kids out of poverty, protected workers and renters, yet the failures were glaring and magnified in our angry, divided world. In the end, a decent man tried his very best in an impossible job. He's not a decent man. He's not a decent man. He's a traitorous moron. A detriment to us in every possible way. A decent man tried his very best. Tried his very best to subvert us. Tried his very best to give away important assets to China, effectively. A decent man tried his very best. Shut up, the Mirror. Make me sick. Oh, look, there's smug Bumham. Smug no Stern Burnham thinks he's going to save Britain. Thinks he's going to save the Labour Party and lead them to a great victory at the next general election. Look at the state of these. Look at the state of them. Really? Okay. Oh look, Tim Stanley's got something to say. Oh yeah, don't care. Cretinous little shill. Okay, the Daily Mail. No Stern Burnham there. Messiah without a mandate, that's what they go with. Just a cavalcade of commies. Idiot commies. The Financial Times. Oh look, Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan's dead. He's 100 years old. Who's Alan Greenspan? Jack, I suppose you don't... Have you heard the name? Do you know? Does that mean anything to you?
Nope.
Okay. Just to say then, Alan Greenspan was chairman of the Federal Reserve for years and years and years and years and years. Like from what? Like the Reagan days until the credit crunch. Or like 1987 or odd, I think. I read this morning, was it? To like 2006. He was the chairman of the Federal Reserve. So super important. And even after that, even after he was kicked upstairs because of the because of the credit crunch or the subprime mortgage debacle in America, Ben Bernanke took over. Lots of people said, well, it just was the case that Alan Greenspan was still super important, still basically sort of the informal de facto head of it in many ways. People like Ben Bernanke and others would still just ask him his opinion on everything all the time. So, okay, super important financier, economist, more than that, like a power broker. Super important. All right, he's dead at 100. Many saying, he's one of the greatest of all time to ever do it. What a mastermind. What a great mind he was. No, I don't think so. Isn't the US national debt now something like $39 or $40 trillion? If Alan Greenspan's got any sort of legacy, it's that, isn't it? All through the 1990s and the early 2000s. The net result of it all is the United States' national debt is an insane number. $40 trillion. Trillion. That doesn't make any sense. That's got no bearing on reality at this point. 40 trillion? Isn't that like more than all the fiat money in the whole world? Like, in fact, many times over or something. 40 trillion. That's an absurd number. It created the biggest house of cards ever in all of human civilization. Well done, Alan. Well done. When the whole world's economy collapses because America's economy collapses, when that happens, not if, when, historians 200 years later or whatever will look back and they'll say, how did that happen? Like when they look back at World War I, how did that happen? How did we get to the guns of August 1914? Let's have a look at everything that led up to that. They'll do that, and historians, financial economic historians, will look at someone like Alan Greenspan and say, someone like him did it. Oversaw that process that led to that in all sorts of ways. Oh, but he's dead at 100 and we must remember a great man. Don't think so. Don't think so, mate. Okay, the Times, Burnham angles for power. Okay, same old stuff. The Sun. Bit of football. Jeremy Clarkson. It's going to be really hot. So make sure you keep hydrated. Jeremy Clarkson. He thinks it's all over, and it definitely is for Starmer. Remember the think it's all over thing? They think it's all over. It is now. Remember that? They're going with that again. But for politics this time. Okay. Regime change, yeah. Yeah, it is regime change. Andy Burnham on Twitter trying to say it's not a political coup d'etat. Yes, it is. Of course it is. It's exactly what it is. All right. The Daily Star, go with almost the exact same image. King of the North and South, great. Okay, the Express, it's a good paper. You can read your Express now. So they say, they go something ever so slightly different. Today marks 10 years since Britain voted to leave the EU, as Starmer finally falls on his sword and Britain faces a lurch to the left under Burnham. We call for politicians to finally believe in Brexit and deliver the will of the people. Express Crusade, give us a proper Brexit. Well, you might think, oh yeah, that's cool, that's right-leaning, that's patriotic, that's sort of even populist or something, that's good. The Express are sort of on our side as the people. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're just as subversive as all the other papers. When push comes to shove, there's an actual party like Restore that is concerned about demographic change or anything like that. They'll try and destroy them like all the other papers. Okay, they're the front pages. Should we have a look at our poll? Should we have a quick look at the price of oil? We do that on this show, don't we? It was interesting to note. Price of oil today. West Texas, just shy of $73 a barrel. Brent crude, about 76. Shy of $77 a barrel. So less than it cost at the beginning of the Iran war. Now. Okay. Why does it still cost so much at the pump? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? Good question. All right, should we have a look at our poll? What did we do for the poll today? If you bring it up for me, Jack. Okay, we asked you guys, how long will the Burnham bump last? Right, so quite nearly always when some new leader comes in, they get a bit of a bump of popularity, sort of almost without fail. Most reasonable people, unless you are their absolute political enemy, will give them a little bit of time. Whether it's a few days, weeks or months, a little bit of time to see if they do great things straight off the bat. You get a bump in popularity. How long will the Burnham bump last, we asked. Well, if it was 1 day, 1 month, 3 months or 6 months. 1,300 odd people voted in that. Thanks for voting. Thanks for getting involved. Okay, it's pretty split. 13% of you say 1 day, 32% of you say 1 month, 27% of you say 3 months, 28% of you say 6 months. So that's pretty split. I don't know, of course. I hope he doesn't get any. I hope someone, whether it's that Al Cairns or whether it's that Jones fella, someone, or Wes Streeting, someone in the party does actually force him, Andy Burnham, to go through a leadership election, just to make it more of a debacle for Labour, and then he has no bump whatsoever. People just are immediately attacking him. His own party and the country and the mainstream media are all just attacking him from all sides at all times. That's what I hope. Don't give him any breathing space. Why should we? If he's not going to call a general election, he's got no mandate. He's a cuckoo in the nest. A usurper. A phony. A fake. He wasn't even an MP, was he, when they won this election? No one voted for him. Quite literally, no one voted for him. Well, other than the good people of Makerfield, no one asked for him. This is a completely contrived Westminster thing. Utterly contrived from the left wing of the Labour Party. That Burnham will rule you now. Pinko, Northern, Andy Bumham. That he will be your political master now. You don't get a say in that. Yeah, don't give him an inch. Oh, it's horrible. People hate it though, don't they? People hate it, just as I've expressed there. Hopefully it does mean, like Rishi, they get trounced at the ballot box next time. That's why it's not necessarily a bad thing, ultimately. I mean, other than the fact that it might make Red Ed Miliband the Chancellor and they will tank our economy even further, much further, which obviously is not like... I'm not really an accelerationist. I've got some accelerationist sympathies. I see the arguments, and to a small extent, even agree with some of them. I get it. I hate to see my country damaged, though. But this amount of accelerationism, if you can call it that, Burnham becoming the Prime Minister, maybe it's worth it if it means Labour get absolutely annihilated at the ballot box next time. All right, it's already gone 10-2. Should we do On This Day in History? Should we do that bit? I don't mind doing that bit. I quite like doing that bit. You guys seem to like me doing that bit. Let's end out the show with that. What happened down through the centuries on this day of note? June the 23rd. In the year 390, world's oldest parliament, the Icelandic parliament, is established. The Althing, as in English, the anglicised version of it. Yeah, they always say that. They quite often say that the British parliament is the second oldest. That's what you'll quite often heard said. When you ask, the second oldest, would have been nice to be the oldest. What is the oldest then, out of interest? Iceland. When you go back that far, though, when you go back to the 10th century, it's not a parliament as we know it in any way, right? But, all right, okay. Could go into that in some detail, but won't. On this day in 1868, Christopher Latham Sholes patents the Sholes and Gliadon typewriter, the first commercially successful of its kind. Not really that interested. How the QWERTY keyboard was born. You know QWERTY? Isn't that the letters across the top of a keyboard? That's right, isn't it, Jack? QWERTY, they're the letters.
Yep.
Yeah, QWERTY, yeah. Have you ever thought, why are the letters on a keyboard set out like that? Why is that? Who came up with that? There's all sorts of reasons for it. You can find keyboards, that are set out in a different configuration, but they're rarer, aren't they? Anyway, that's not all that interesting, is it? Okay, on this... I don't think so, anyway. On this day in 1960, first contraceptive pill was made available for purchase in the United States. Yeah. Women's lib. Was it a great thing, ultimately? That divides opinion, doesn't it? Was it brilliant and started a new age that was just positive? Or not? Burning bras, the contraceptive pill, absolutely equal rights across the board. Is it great that we lived in a feminised society now, where lots of society is dominated by girl bosses? I'll let you decide. Okay, on this day in 1972, Hurricane Agnes becomes America's costliest natural disaster, affecting 15 states and 119 deaths and $3 billion of damage. Must admit, I don't remember that one. That's before my time. Wasn't born yet. Don't really remember that one. It's not really remembered much in popular consciousness, I don't think. Perhaps if you live in one of those states, it is. But I don't know much about that. Okay, in 1983, Solidarity leader Lech Walesa, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, meets Pope John Paul II during papal visit to Poland. Yeah, that was the guy, I believe. He went on to be the first sort of Polish leader after the Soviet collapse. Is that right? It's him, isn't it? He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1983. Oh, yeah, and served as president of Poland from 1990 to 1995. Right, so Poland were one of the first to break away from the Soviet Union when Gorbachev said, you can have votes if you want and break away from the Soviet Union if you really want. Few countries immediately were like, yes, we want that, we'll take that. Poland was one of those, and he was their first leader, I believe. So for Poles, an important person. On this day in 2016, exactly 10 years ago today, the United Kingdom votes in the Brexit referendum to leave the European Union. God, 10 years ago. Doesn't feel like that for me. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like only a few years ago. It feels like 3 or 4 years ago or something. 10 years, God, that went quick. That went quick. Yeah, as the Express said, it was never really done. The establishment hated it. They did everything they could to thwart it and then not actually do it. Not actually lean into it and make the best out of it. This very morning, see Ed Davey on the news. He's got like 70, 80 odd MPs. Just saying, yeah, if he got in power, he would just have closer and closer and closer ties to our European partners. That's the thing that will fix Britain and fix our economy. Closer to undo Brexit more. Closer ties. That's what Burnham's talked about a number of times, hasn't he? He kept it quiet during the campaign at Makerfield. Didn't want to talk about that. But that is his politics. Wants closer and closer ties with Europe. Get Labour peers in the House of Lords stand up and just say things like, it's inevitable, we will undo Brexit entirely. Rejoin the EU properly, fully. They hated it. They hated the idea that Parliament would be sovereign, that we would be sovereign, that we, the people, through our representatives in the Commons, have full control of what happens in our country. They hate that idea because they're globalists, because they're traitors, subversives and globalists. Andy Burnham wants, one of the few things he's clear on, is that he wants more and more devolution, less and less power in Westminster. In my opinion, and most of the people watching the Beau show, I imagine, a lot of your opinions, everything this country needs is the opposite of what Burnham will do. He'll just go deeper and deeper, deeper into the Blairite project. To leftist economic theory. The exact opposite of what's required. Okay, all right. Let's have a look at our Rumble Rants and Super Chats. Okay, the Rumble Rants here. Let's have a look. They're on the other side of my screen today. Global Church History, yes! Mr. History. First name Global, middle name Church, surname History. Mr. History says, on this day in 1532, Henry VIII signed the Pomereux Treaty with his former rival, France, against his former ally, the Holy Roman Emperor. Yeah, so on Beaudade's Epochs, my history theme channel behind the paywall on lotusseaters.com, do consider signing up for as little as £5 a month Protestant membership. On there, I'm currently going through the life of Henry VIII. I'm up to like part 4. There'll be at least 6 or 7, I would have thought, parts on that. So hours and hours. Each one's like an hour and a bit or more. So hours and hours going to be talking about, I have already started talking about Henry VIII, one of the key monarchs. Certainly the key monarch of, I was going to say the key monarch of the 16th century, but I'd probably give that to Elizabeth. I don't know. Anyway, all right, his daughter. But yeah, that treaty, that's really important. It's more than just a treaty between France. It's secret, actually. More than just a treaty between France against Spain, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor and King of Spain. It was more than just realigning that. There's lots more going on to that. It's about Henry VIII breaking from Rome, becoming a Protestant country, breaking from the Roman Catholic Church, so that he could annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and marry Anne Boleyn, so that he could have a boy, because Catherine of Aragon was as barren as a brick. Not my words. He needed a boy. He thought, we don't want to return to the Wars of the Roses. I have to have a boy, an heir, at all costs. At all costs. The Pope telling me I can't do that. I have to remain married to Catherine of Aragon for all time. No. Oh, and we have to give you money all the time, and the monasteries are sort of dominating our society in various ways. No, I'm not having any of that anymore. So in order to do all that sort of thing, he needed to kind of be sure that he wouldn't be invaded by Catholic countries. He had to secure his border with Scotland, secure his border with the French, make sure he might not be invaded from the Low Countries or whatever. Because although Holland is famously Protestant, isn't it? It's actually like the Spanish Netherlands at that point. So there's much Pardon me. There's much more to that treaty than simply just ticking off a new peace treaty with the French. There's loads more going on there. That he and Anne Boleyn went over to Calais. This is like the key moment. He married Anne Boleyn not that long, a few months later, like 6 months later or so. He was putting the final touches on his break with Rome and his new marriage and all that sort of thing. Fascinating. There's so much detail to it. Okay, and the other factoid you've got there, you say, on this day in 1661, Charles II received Tangier and Bombay as a dowry from Portugal. Right, a dowry. So what was it? Who was his wife? It's Catherine of Braganza, isn't it? Charles II? Yeah, Catherine of Braganza, the daughter of the King of Portugal. Right, yeah. Finally, England has got a long and glorious and storied connection to Portugal. It's one of the oldest alliances of all time, if maybe the oldest alliance of all time, between England and Portugal. We both hate Spain down through the centuries. The thing we've got in common is we fear and loathe Spain. Down through the centuries, that is. Not so much these days, of course. But all right, yeah, Catherine of Braganza. That was Charles II's wife, wasn't it? All right. Luke Street 91 says, "G'day, Beau. G'day, mate. And everyone, how is everyone enjoying supper with Beau this lovely Tuesday afternoon?" Okay, so it's in Australia. It's a completely different time of day, of course. "We went through Rudd, Gillard, Rudd again, Tony, then Malcolm. We had quite a lot in fighting as well. Quite a lot of infighting as well." All right, yeah, all the different leaders of Australia in the last few years, yeah. Seems the way, doesn't it? The whole people that are all in the leftist paradigm, and that includes like the Tory party, absolutely, the globalist leftist paradigm, and the same going on in Australia, can't get their stuff together because their whole worldview is crumbling, isn't it? Crumbling in the face of reality in all sorts of ways. The next few are Luke again. You say, "I find it interesting in Austria is effectively ruling like a..." Is that what we say? Oh, is that supposed to be Australia or Austria? There's some sort of typo there. You probably mean Australia. "I find it interesting in Australia is effectively ruling like a dictator, but seeing how every other party, Labour and Liberal, constantly infighting, I'll take a dictator over chaos any day." And then you say part one. Part two, another Rumble Rant says, "I found similar people complain about Restore, to be honest, having a leader that has good control and a clear vision. I'll take probably why I like the monarchy. We know who is the replacement." Okay, basically just saying you'd rather a strong dictator than a string of weakling people just rearranging the deck chairs ever so slightly on the Titanic. A lot of people agree with you. Okay, Pigdog5150 says, "I wonder if Burnham's father was a Roman legionary." Is that a particular reference to something? Some meme or something? I don't know. Sorry. That's a clever reference to something, I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, maybe with the sandals? Maybe? I don't know. Okay. Luke again says, "He's probably using the same sort of accounting Chinese use to say that their growth is amazing. Recommend you check out the video from about 3 days ago from China Uncensored about Chinese banks." Oh, interesting, yeah. Josh Firm has made some content before and written an article too, I believe. And it's very interesting about how the Chinese economy, people think it's insanely strong. It's a little bit of a house of cards as well. If the rest of the world, for whatever reason, stopped buying all their manufactured goods, their economy could well collapse in all sorts of ways. If the US economy truly imploded and collapsed, that reverberated around the world, the Chinese economy would also. There's loads of different There are actually loads of different data points about the Chinese economy and banking system which are unsound, put it that way. Yeah, interesting. Maybe I will look up that video. Okay. Question 47 says, every time Starmer delivers in his speech... Oh, sorry. Every line Starmer delivers in his speech is utter drivel. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Basically, everything he said... More or less everything he said was utter drivel. Yeah, your words are exactly right. Utter drivel. What are you talking about, bro? What world are you living in? Okay, Luke again says... Do you really think Annie Bumham gonna do well, especially with Ireland starting to heat up again, and it looks like Scotland's starting to go full Braveheart? Yeah, I don't think Andy Burnham is strong at all. That's one of the things you would need as a leader, isn't it? To have a steely resolve sometimes, in fact, often. Right? Think about Maggie Thatcher, for example. During the Falklands. That's a bit of a cliche. People that hate Thatcher will roll their eyes at this. But when the Argentinians invaded that, she said, no, I'm not having that. No, we're going to put together a flotilla and we're going to go down there and we're going to take it back. Come what may. Come what the mainstream media say. Come what my political enemy said. Don't care what the UN says. Nothing. We're doing that. Tony Blair, again, hate the guy. When it came to it and he needed a bit of steely resolve, he had it. You would need it. That's something that Keir Starmer certainly hasn't got, is it? He won't go to war with anyone or anything under any circumstances. Politically or actually or, whatever. You need that to be a leader, right? You're going to need it from time to time. Has Andy Burnham got that? Where he'll say, no, there's a line in the sand. And come what may, I will not budge. I will not move. I doubt it. It doesn't seem like that. So he seems like a lily-livered, weak-wristed, empty shirt. A man without trousers. A room without a view. A weakling. Another weakling. With his double chins and his guy liner. Okay, Pigdog5150 says, Stephen Bray, a really annoying man who is a traitor who spends his time being really annoying, likes another really annoying man who is also a traitor. Starmer. What a surprise. Yeah. Isn't that very telling that Stephen Bray is a big fan of Keir Starmer? That's it. Tells you everything you need to know about Stephen Bray and Ramonas. They're pathetic people. Luke Stewart says, Polish member of the European Parliament Dominik Trzcinski commented on Keir Starmer's resignation by writing, see you in court, loser. I hope it's true. He's suing for being banned entry into UK. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. See you in court, loser. Okay. Acid Helm says, my emperor. Says, my emperor. I was 40 minutes late to the stream. Oh, you're calling me your emperor. Oh, that's kind. I'm flattered. I was 40 minutes late to the stream. Forgive me. You are forgiven. I have failed you. Don't worry about it, mate. I have brought dishonour to my line. No, all is forgiven. You have my blessing. I'll allow it. Okay. Luke Stewart, last two from Luke again. You say, one, I'm amazed he resigned so quickly. I thought he would have stuck it out just to spite Trump on the Daily and on Daily Express. I wonder if they can feel the movement coming from the right, trying to stay in their grace. Maybe. Yeah, do you remember David Lammy, like a week or two ago, maybe slightly longer, came out as doing that sort of, I think, the morning shows on a Sunday, saying, Keir Starmer will fight this to the bitter end. He's the most resilient man I've ever known, David Lammy said. He's the most resilient man he's ever known. Well, no. when it finally came to the crunch, he just backed down, didn't he? Then David Lammy said that Peter Manson was a brilliant pick for US ambassador at the time when it first happened. So David Lammy, one, doesn't know what he's talking about at all times, and two, will say whatever he's told to say at all times. Just a complete cipher for other people. Just a corruption machine, really, isn't he? Who are all the people that give David Lammy loads and loads of money all the time? Who are they? We know they do, because he declares it. People we don't know who they are, or what they expect in return for giving him tens and tens of thousands of pounds. Oh yeah, that's what's going on. Oh yeah, David Lammy, yeah. Is it some guy called George Brown? It was something Brown. Just gave Lammy like 50 grand or something. And when asked, what's that about? Who's that? And what did he get in return for that money? David Lammy won't tell you. There's a word for that, isn't there? You could characterise that as corruption, couldn't you? Luke Stewart, again, last one, says, I think the best way to phrase acceleration nowadays is, we can done it the easy way or the hard way. I guess you're meant to put, we can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way. And it seems everyone, brackets normies, chose the hard way. Right, yeah. We are going to need the normies to wake up and not vote Labour, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. Now the rubber rants, we've got the actual super chats now on YouTube. There's a fair few, a dozen or so, 15 or so. All right, let's whip through them. Principled Uncertainty says, I keep meeting people who tell me they like Burnham, but they can never tell me why. The UK needs more than some colourful buses. Yeah, it's weird. A lot of people, normal people who don't really pay attention to politics very closely, you know, have never actually formally studied it in any way and don't even really follow the mainstream media news cycle for what that's worth. Propaganda machine that is. They don't even follow that. It's all just fires. They just see a headline every now and again, catch a little bit of the news every now and again, don't really know what's going on. They just see a face, like aware of a name floating around. People that only really know Nigel Farage from I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here type of thing. Normie boomers, don't mean to have a pop at boomers, base boomers are some of the most base people you get, but like a normie boomer type, BBC News watching, Radio 4 listening idiot. We're like, oh, I remember Burnham from the Blair and Brown years. I remember him. Yeah, he's got quite a kindly face. When you hear him speak, he's got sort of softly spoken and seems nice. That's it. That's the extent of their analysis. And their vote is the same as ours. Worth the same. What can you do? But whenever you talk about bringing in some sort of qualification for the franchise, any sort of qualification for it, you need to show that you know anything about what's going on. People go berserk about that. People go berserk about that if you even talk about it, even hypothetically. Just the concept of it, they'll go berserk. All right. I mean, if you look at the ancient Athenian democracy, if you read Thucydides, you look at the democracy during the Peloponnesian War, the problem with Alcibiades. Oh, Harry, Jack, go to that camera. Yeah, on my channel, History Bro there. This is fake, by the way. History Bro hasn't got 100,000 subscribers. It'd be nice if it did. Head over there. There's no paywall there. It's all free there. I do long-form content all about the Peloponnesian War and Thucydides in conversation with Mr. Carl Benjamin. I think it's like 5 hours. We go through Thucydides in great detail. The ancient Athenian democracy, they came to the conclusion that it was fundamentally flawed democracy because of exactly those things I just said. That you can just get a charismatic person who's actually a danger, doesn't really know what they're doing or talking about, but they are able to make normal people who aren't paying any attention, have got no intention of paying attention, they can convince them that they do know what they're doing and they're the best leader. And the democracy votes them in, and they lead the entire country into utter ruin. Things like that have happened before in the past. Okay. Calzetti says, silver lining, Reeves is getting a P45. Anyway, I don't know, that means you're becoming unemployed. She's getting a P45. Another with an embarrassing, tearful display. She's a woman, though. Keir's blubbering was pathetic. Yeah. Yeah, I do think so. If he's gonna have a little boo about it, do it behind closed doors, probably. That's my feeling. Okay. Kick You in the Throat, that's their name, at Kick You in the Throat, says, being from the US and loving England, I see 10,000 speech-related arrests in the UK each year, and I find it hard not to use my freedom of speech to be a line stepper after saying the right wing... Oh, sorry. Often saying the right thing in the wrong places. Yeah, no, I'm a bit jealous of people that live in the United States for the First Amendment. We really, really, really can't say what we truly think and believe in this country in lots and lots of senses. It's quite a censorious society now. Yeah. So you get a lot of people on Twitter and stuff, people in the right-wing dissident sphere, and they actually live in Southeast Asia or America. And they can be a lot more forthright than we can, because the UK police aren't going to knock at the door. Can't knock at the door. Yeah. Okay. Ranger 1513 says, "Great show, Beau. I appreciate your mentions of Baron Rothschild, Nathaniel Rothschild, the fifth Baron Rothschild. His clan have caused nothing but destruction. Feeling on Rupert's comments on ethnats. Yeah, disappointing. Rupert's comments on ethnats. Yeah, disappointing. If anyone doesn't know, he just completely equated ethno-nationalism and Nazism, as though they're completely the same thing. Me and Nate made a video about it on State of Politics. Go to Disdain Cam, Jack. On my other channel, State of Politics. Me and Nate made a video that will go up today, I think, talking about that in detail. We addressed it all in detail. Yeah, it's disappointing. I've said before, I'll say it again, I think there is an ethnic element to our national identity. I don't think people of completely foreign ethnicities can come to this country and just be English. No. So in that strict definition then, suppose you call me an ethnat. I'm a nationalist, proudly, openly a nationalist, and I think there is an ethnic component to our national identity. So, okay. Does that make me a Nazi? No. Surely there's some sort of spectrum, isn't there? But Rupert Lowe did seem to, didn't he? Did seem to just completely equate them all and said he hated them all. Bit disappointing, isn't it? Although many in the party came out and said that there's more to it than that, and that Rupert actually is committed to our demographic, fighting our demographic replacement. He wants the best for the country and the native people of this country, and I believe that. I absolutely believe that. Okay, I think it was more just a little bit of sort of lazy definitions from Rupert, I think, more than anything. I completely believe that he's a patriot. Utterly believe that he's a committed patriot and wants the best for his country and his people. Completely believe that still. So, okay. It's not enough, it's not even coming close as enough for me to throw the toys out of the pram and stop being in Restore. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. They're still by far the best party out there that's actually got a realistic chance of winning seats, in my opinion. I know quite a few ethnats might take so much umbrage at that it's too much for them, and they have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and, I don't know, do something else. Not support the party anymore. Okay, do what you got to do, but it's a shame. Okay, where are we? What else have we got? We Out Here and There. That's what their name is called. We Out Here and There. Says, Starmer has done loads for the countries he loves. Yeah, right. The countries he loves. It just happens to be every other subversive foreign interest, not Britain. Yeah, exactly. Quite right. Yeah, exactly. Seems what it seems like. Kick you in the throat again says, this yank is all up in his feelings this month. This yank is all up in his feelings this month about his beloved English brothers and sisters, thinking of you all even more than ever, fellow Americans trying to get more hip to UK news also. Okay, cool, thanks. Kick you in the throat. Yeah, I know you're giving a fair amount of super chats over the days, so I appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, Field Marshal Don Browning doesn't say anything and just gives 20 Aussie dollars. Wait. Thank you very much. Or a woot emoji, a big emoji that's dancing around saying woot. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your support, Don. Really do. Cheers, love. Okay. Thundercook 2028 says, you excited for Manchesterism to sweep Britain? ? Yeah. No. It's going to suck, isn't it? It's going to be really bad. I think it's going to ruin the economy. Like, far worse than it already is. Teetering on the edge, isn't it? Right on the edge. Right on the raggedy edge of being in full-blown recession or depression or whatever. It's going to tip us into that. I would have thought. Okay, Principled Uncertainty says, Ben Elton said he actually misses Thatcher, as in not Mr. and Mrs., but Mrs. as in you want to see them get back again. Mrs. Thatcher and Blair, because they at least had a plan and carried it out. No one of worth goes into politics. They go into tech or finance, where the power really lies. Yeah, maybe to some extent, yeah. I'm not interested in what Ben Elton has got to say. He's a subversive. He used to be funny. He wrote a lot of the funniest jokes in Blackadder, didn't he, for example? But his politics are completely subversive and gross. Commie. Dirty little filthy commie, Ben Elton, actually. Okay. Tatum says, our US debt is more Reagan's fault, slashing the top income tax bracket in half twice and introducing no alternative source of money other than borrowing. That's an interesting point. I think there would be a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than that. But nonetheless, it's an interesting point. Totally valid point. One of the reasons, let's say that. Yeah, interesting point. Yeah. Bald Choice, that's their name, says, morning, Beau from the Rocky Mountains. Oh, really? What, you in Colorado, perhaps? Camp of the Saints was republished and sells for $25 on Amazon. A decent read with direct parallels to our countries. Interesting. Last time I looked up Camp of the Saints to buy a copy, it was really expensive. It was out of print and it was loads. It was like 200 quid or something, or 150 quid or something. You're saying you can get one for 25? Okay. Interesting. Maybe I'll look that up. I would like to read it. I haven't read it. I mean to, but like I say, I went to buy a copy once, a year or 2 or 3 ago. I was like, I don't think I'll pay that. I couldn't find just an online copy somewhere, like a PDF of it or anything. But okay, if it's 25 quid, that's doable. Or $25 even, that's doable. Okay, a few more here, another half a dozen or so. Ben Kane says, Burnham only wears sandals to appeal to Islam. I wonder if that's true. That's interesting. That didn't occur to me. I wonder if that's true. Ryan Hudson says, Beau, we need you to come stateside to be on Timcast IRL. Colby can confirm it's a great time. We need you, brother. I'd go on Timcast. I'd travel to America and go on Timcast. In fact, it was going to happen at one point, like a year or two ago. I had emails back and forth with one of their producers, one of the women producers. I can't remember her name now. And then they were like, yeah, come over, yeah. Next time Cole's over, come over with him or whatever, yeah. I was like, okay, well, give me some dates. We'll start thinking about it, doing it. Ghosted me. Sent a couple more emails saying, yeah, I'm still up for it if you want to do it. No reply. I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. Happily do it. Maybe I'll email her again after this show. What can I say? When you get ghosted by someone, it's a bit different if it's an actual like girlfriend or something, but in the normal course of events, trying to set something up. If I get ghosted 2 times, 3 times, absolute most, well, that's it. I'll just stop. I'm not going to keep pestering someone. The 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th time. Hey, I'm still here. Would you consider me? No. Ghost me 2 times. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's that then. I'd go on Timcast. I don't care. All right. Luke Stewart says, here is your daily reminder to get the likes up so we can get this video out. Hopefully wake some normies up. So please, guys, hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button. Smash the like button. Break your own mouse by smashing the like button so hard. Don't do that. Subscribe to lotuseaters.com or Lotus Eaters, podcast of the Lotus Eaters, the channel, isn't it? Subscribe to it. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button and get the bell on. Get that bell going so you don't miss them. Okay. Billy Monaghan says, Rupert's disavowal of FNATs will destroy or restores momentum. Feel sorry for Harrison Pitt leaving an academic career at Oxford. No way they let him back in. Can we vote our way out of this? ? I think we can vote our way out of this. I hope Rupert's disavowal doesn't destroy momentum. Some people will hate it so much that they won't be on board anymore. Yeah, it will have hurt the base a bit. I hope not. I hope not fatally. What can I say? I absolutely believe Rupert wants the best for his country and his people. What can I say? I'm not actually in the party. I'm only a member. Obviously, I know a lot of the leading people in it, but I don't actually have any power or control what goes on in that party. Not at all. So, what can I say? Other than I find it disappointing. Again, on State Politics, there's a whole video coming out about it. Okay. Deportis. Deportits. I don't know how you're going to... That's a collection of letters. I don't know how that's a word or anything. Okay. Says, morning, Beau. I'm feeling away right now. Had white discrimination on Saturday, couldn't even get coffee. Then today, a racist black people on TikTok, and then a really angry face. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, white discrimination is a thing, isn't it? Absolutely a thing. Yeah, anti-white racism, rampant in the West. Well, in the whole world. Sorry to hear that. Don't let the buggers get you down. Okay, last 2. Luke Stewart again. Oh, Luke Stewart's doing the rubber rants and the super chats. Great guy. How good. Oh, yeah? How good. He says, well, that's easy. Nazis are National Socialists. You can be a nationalist, just don't be a socialist. We need to stress that argument. Yeah. National Socialists. Stupid. It was a stupid creed in the 1930s. Let alone now. Okay, and the last one from Tatum says, Camp of the Saints has super weird prose, beware. Oh, okay. Okay. What, the actual writing style is weird, is it? Fair enough. Okay, I'll beware. All right, that's the show. It's now just ticked past 9:30 in the AM. Don't say I'm not generous. It's only really supposed to be a 1 hour show. You got 90 minutes there, 50% more for free. I am a river to my people. It's just gone 9:30 on Tuesday the 23rd of June in the year of our Lord 2026. Thank you for joining me. You've been the glorious band, the chosen few. My band of brothers and sisters. Without you, it isn't a thing. Try and make the best of the day ahead. As always, the most valuable thing you will ever have is your time by orders of magnitude. Try and make it count. Carpe diem. It's going to be hot in Britain, in England. It's going to be baking today. Perhaps the hottest June day on record. So be careful. Do stay hydrated. Don't get sunstroke. Don't jump into a freezing reservoir. If you can, make the best of the day. Okay, all right. Until tomorrow morning then. Take care.